So, we are in sociology of sexuality, and we're doing a project today where we interview individuals on what their ideas of sex and consent are. So, we're going to ask them what their definitions are and see how it goes.
Okay, my definition of sex is if because you can have sex between two females too. So I was gonna say if like a male organ goes into
Right.
a female, but if you're a lesbian, you can have sex too. So I guess anything that involves like oral touching of sex organs or sex organs touching each other, I would say is sex. So like oral sex is sex. Vag on vag is sex.
Right.
If you're into the whole, what do they call it, docking for guys, or like anal, like all that to me is sex. Sorry, I know all the terms. Any of that is sex to me.
So, sex is more physical for you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, I can't have sex with someone by just looking at them, or like, this isn't sex, like
Right.
just touching someone. You have to like contact with the private parts.
Okay.
It is sex, but not like a hand job.
So, sex isn't so.
Sex has to be like I wouldn't say sex is like giving someone a hand job. That's not sex. You just give someone a hand job. But if your mouth touches it,
Yeah.
that makes it sex.
What is your idea of sex?
My idea of sex, or definition of sex, is anything physical that involves your sex organs. So, like oral, like, what is it called? I guess intercourse, actual intercourse.
Penetration?
Yeah, penetration between two people. Sex.
What is your definition of sex?
My definition of sex is any kind of sexual act that's like agreed upon that happens between two people. Like if two people can call what they want sex, like if someone does what's called hand job sex, it'd be sex for them. I feel like sex is a personal definition that might not have a textbook. If you look up sex in the dictionary, it says this. It's like it's what you want it to be. It's not just because I think giving oral is sex, that doesn't mean people next to me are gonna think it's sex.
Right.
It's sexual acts done by two people that they enjoy and are consensual about.
So, sex is up to the individual mindset on what
I
they-
think so, yeah.
What is your definition of sex?
My definition of sex, I think, just sort of broadly is like a private act of like physical intimacy between, I guess, between like even a group of people, I guess, if you want to get like specific, but like I generally think of it as like physical intimacy between two people, and it can like people's definitions of sex can like evolve like over the course of their life, or like over the course of an evening of like what they want to do or what they don't want to do. But it's about like being like physically intimate and being in the moment and just doing something that you know the other person will enjoy.
So, sex for you is physical but also emotional through experiences and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's just broadly like an experience more so than this touch that necessarily.
Right.
You know.
Okay.
Consent, both persons have to be completely under no influence, sober, and both agree the whole time throughout the process. If either party is drunk, it's not consent to me, because I've had experiences where just because I was drunk, I wanted to do something in the moment, but later I regretted it. So that wasn't me making a sober decision, that was me being drunk and stupid, you know? And I wouldn't say it was rape or anything like that. I will never cry rape on it, but it is a drunk decision that was made, and I don't think that should be considered consent. And it would be the same if it were a male. If a dude was drunk and I had sex with him, I didn't get consent from him because he may not want to have sex with me when he's sober, but maybe he sees me as attractive when he's drunk. That's wrong of me to pursue him just because he's drunk, you know? Like, so I think both people need to be sober under no influence of drugs or alcohol to have consent. And it has to be throughout the process, too. Because, like, maybe you're in the middle of it and one of you two decide, just kidding, I don't want to do this anymore. You need, like, both parties would need to stop, because that's not consent any longer. So it has to be through the whole process, and both need to be sober-minded.
And what's your definition of consent?
Consent is both people saying okay or yes to whatever goes on. And like she said, no, you can't have consent. You can have consent in the beginning, but if somebody decides like halfway through that they don't want to do it anymore, then you should stop.
Right.
Yeah.
What is your definition of consent?
Consent is agreeing to said acts. Both parties being like, yes, I want this, and a yes, I can do this, and it can be fun and enjoyable state of mind. Not like, yeah, I'm really intoxicated, let's go do something in the back room. It's like, all right, this is gonna happen, and we both want it to happen.
What is your definition of consent?
My definition of consent is when you have two or more parties who are interested in having sex, and then they sit down and have that moment of like face-to-face and also verbal confirmation of, yes, this is something I'm interested in, is this something that you're interested in, and yes, and them checking in with each other to make sure that they're both soberly making this decision and eagerly making this decision instead of like, I guess so, since you've been like asking all week or something like that.
And what about body language? How does that play into consent for you?
I don't think body language means anything. To like, because if you mean by that, like I flirt, but it doesn't mean I want to have sex with someone. Like if I like, you know, like show my good side at people or wink or whatever, it doesn't necessarily mean I want to have sex with them. I'm just playing. We're humans. We play sometimes. We like to have fun and flirt, and I know I do. I may wink at someone or be like just messing with them, but it doesn't mean I want to like take them in the bedroom and have sex with them, you know?
Yeah.
So body language, I don't think has anything to do with sex. I don't think you can tell by someone's body language if they want to fuck you or not. I think it's got to be verbal consent. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. And how do you feel about body language as it pertains to consent?
As it pertains to consent, I wouldn't say that body language doesn't have anything to do with it, but you can't base consent solely on body language, because like, I mean, I could want to have sex with a girl, and you know, she could maybe want to have sex with me, but I wouldn't, if just by looking at her and she looked like making eye contact, wouldn't mean that we both like, I wouldn't be able to tell that just by her looking at me a certain way, or you know, maybe what she's wearing or whatever the case may be. Like, that's something that you have to get verbalized.
Yes.
I feel like, yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about body language as it pertains to consent?
I feel like body language has something to do with it. Someone's body language doesn't mean they're consenting that in that instant with their body language to have sex, but it could lead to consent to have sex.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. And how does body language play into that?
I think body language plays into it less in the like time leading up to the agreement and more so during the time after the agreement, because like if y'all are eager and you're like having sex and you're just kind of going through the plan that y'all established, and then one of the two of you is all of a sudden like looking body language wise a little like hesitant or like thrown off, I feel like using that kind of body language specifically is a good way for the other person to like check in and be like, hey, is this still okay that we do this? I know you said yes before, but I'm getting kind of a weird feeling right now, and that's a good way to sort of keeping in mind body language like after the fact almost is a good way to be like check back in and be like, is this still okay that we go forward with that kind of stuff? So
Okay. Awesome. Thank you for that.